This is Dante Basco, the voice of Prince Zuko, the Prince of the Fire Nation, and you're watching Day Zero TV. Honor.
All right. Now, looks like that's the rules. Are you guys stoked? Yeah! All right, let's do this. Let's bring out Dante Basco. Yeah!
Yo, Rufio, 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 Rufio.
Has anybody seen Dante Basco? Oh, that's right, we got this guy right here.
He was in the debut. I was promised macho.
No, he's here. Don't worry, guys. I just saw him upstairs. No, don't worry. So let's have the crowd off. So, all right, guys. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Right side, you guys ready? Again, guys, I would like to remind you, please be on your best behavior. No slash, no shipping. Let's not scare him away with our fandom, guys. Awesome. Now, officially, I would love to introduce the Mr. Dante Basco.
How you guys doing today? Rufio's in the front row. What?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Paula Angeles. Hey. And I know you guys know me as the marketing director for Pacific Media Expo, and sometimes moderator. But anyways, we're happy to introduce Dante Basco for Pacific Media Expo 2012.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here Sunday in LA. I see a lot of, it's amazing. There's a lot of people here. I'm totally blown away. I obviously see Rufio. Hook fans are in the house. I took a picture earlier with Cora, so there's gotta be some Avatar fans in the house. I see a bunch of horns, so where my Homestuck's at? Yeah, so I guess we're all here. It's PMX 2012.
All right, I guess the whole family's here. You know what? And this is what we're going to do, and I'm sure Sammy has explained to you what's happening. That we are actually going to do some prepared questions first for Dante, and then the floor is open for you guys. So, first question. So in advance of, so in a town and industry where so many acting careers end before they even get off the ground, definitely you're a rarity, for sure. And consistently working professional actor who has worked in both film and TV, both live and animated, as we all know. How did you get your start, and what's been your secret to always staying in front of the screen?
Well, I started in the 80s, and believe it or not, I started as a breakdancer in the streets of San Francisco. So I was a breakdancer. Me and my brothers were in a crew called Street Freaks, and we started dancing for San Francisco 49ers, Oakland A's. Got picked up by the San Francisco Ballet Company, and that kind of started our world of entertainment. Dancing led us to LA, and in LA we started studying acting, and little by little I was able to have the fortune and good blessings to kind of keep my boat afloat in Hollywood. So it's just through that and through a lot of studying. People that want to get into voiceover acting and acting on screen. Me and my brothers, we've all studied for 20 years plus in Hollywood while we were working the whole time. So it's just, it's just the lifestyle of the actor and the artist and living in Hollywood.
And thanks for following your heart. Also, as you know, a popular stereotype about Asian American families is the insistence of parents on pushing their children toward classic professional careers like medicine, law.
Yeah. I guess I could have been a dentist or something.
But you know what? All your families are they're all performers. They're all artists, which is great. Thank you. And so tell us about the dynamic within your family that allowed this to happen.
We were, like I said, we were break dancers, and we were we come from a little town called Pittsburgh, California, which is a little town outside of San Francisco. And it's a blue collar town, and we're just this family. We were like the Jacksons of our town, I always say it was something like the Jacksons, but with Filipino, like Michael and Marlon and Jermaine and Tito. And so we grew up breakdancing in the streets, singing songs at the Christmas show, at the local Phil-Am, and that energy brought us to Hollywood, like I said. And because we come from a very blue-collar background, although a lot of Asian Americans push their kids to a lot of other things, when you come from a certain neighborhood, when we grew up in LA, we were like in a very, a blue-collar town, Paramount, right next to Compton, and Paramount in the house. So the thing is, when you come from those neighborhoods, a lot of times college and all that kind of stuff isn't, it's further outlet to reach to. A lot of kids from our neighborhood got out of town, got out of the neighborhood through sports and through entertainment, and we were just like one of the families that got out and elevated ourselves through entertainment.
And it looks like you have pretty deep roots here in Southern California. So we know that you're an alumnus of the famous Orange County High School of Performing Arts.
Yes.
And definitely been an inspiration for a few movies. Yeah. and TV shows, as well as the alma mater to several famous entertainers. So what was that experience like?
That was great. I mean, we were, me and my brothers went to school there, and it was, you know, it's like Fame, like the movie Fame. Everybody's like, I want to go to a high school where there's girls dancing and in the hallways and people playing music, and it was a lot like that. It was just surrounded by actors, dancers, visual artists, theater artists, and it's amazing now. Now they relocated to Santa Ana. I'm actually going to be teaching a mentor class there at the end of this month. As one of the programs is the alumni coming back and talking to the students and trying to, you know, the people that want to move on to the next level, just to give our, you know, our experience to help that out. But it's amazing. OSHA, you know, you can start, if you're an artist, I see there's so many artistic people here, and you see that the soul of the artist, we start young. It's not like you become an adult and all of a sudden you want to start drawing or acting or singing. This stuff starts, you know, 10, younger, running around the living room, running in neighborhoods. So if you have an outlet young to like do that, I think my parents rather us sing and dance than like be out in the streets doing crazy stuff.
That's awesome. And of course, every successful actor has a signature breakout role, but you've been fortunate because you've had some. That's awesome. And your first, however, is a pop culture iconic Rufio from Steven Spielberg's Hook.
Yes.
And you know what? You need to tell us how that role came about and how you convinced Steven Spielberg to cast you alongside co-stars Julia Roberts, Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, you know, big names. Can you share some inside stories with us?
Yeah, well, that is one of the only roles to even to this day that I got cast after one audition. They put me on tape, and then next thing you know, I'm meeting Steven Spielberg, and I'm this kid actor, and then I don't even read the scene anymore. Next thing you know, he hires me to play the role. It like happens like immediately. Months into filming, I'm sitting on the set, and I asked Steven, like, well, I've never been cast after one audition. How did this happen? And he said, you're the only kid that scared me. But see, which was cool. And the weird thing about it, like now, you know, you're sitting here, you're Rufio, you got the Tri-Hawk, you have like the black and red Michael Jackson cyberpunk thing going on. When we first did the role, you know, I got cast and I'm doing this thing and I'm learning sword fighting with Robin Williams and I'm going over lines with Dustin Hoffman and whatnot, but we didn't know what Rufio was gonna look like. No one had any clue. I mean, there was like drawings of me with dreadlocks, there's all this other stuff, right? So we did a few different looks, but when I come on the set, first of all, they put me in the hair, right? You get the hair. I mean, you got think of this at the time. I'm 15 years old. They have some drawings. Everybody starts doing some stuff. Next thing you know, I have like not one mohawk. I have 3 mohawks. Then I got this like Michael Jackson jacket on, and people are like cutting it up. And this is like a time when Michael Jackson was not cool. Like Michael Jackson was cool in the 80s and then the 90s, and he was like, Mike's not that cool anymore. He didn't get cool till like the 2000s again. So now it's like, I got a Michael Jackson jacket on. Way too late. And then, you know, I'm wearing like tights and a loincloth and my belly button showing. Like I'm wearing a half shirt. I'm like, yo, I'm dressed crazy, and I'm supposed to be a badass, and I feel like I'm in a Michael Jackson video. So, but what are you gonna say? You know, then they bring you on the set in front of like all the producers and Steven and everything, and the lights are like this, and then you know, then like this is Rufio, and it takes a while. You know, now it's cool. Now it's like someone you're like, I'm on Halloween, I'm like on the boulevard, and people are dressed up as Rufio. I'm like, dude, that's cool, but when it hasn't been done yet, it takes a while to feel cool with red hair and tights and a midriff and a sword. But you know, it all came together.
That's awesome. And you know what? And lately, as we know, thanks to no small part to Andrew Hussey's popular Homestuck, Homestuck is in the house. So Rufio has reached another generation.
Yeah, Rufio made it to Homestuck.
I know, right? So, you know what? Talk to us about how that all came together. And, you know, and have you and Andrew met? And if so, does that preclude any potential future collaboration, maybe?
Me and Andrew have not. You know what? We tweet each other back. We like DM each other. It's so strange. This thing, well, the whole thing about Homestuck, I'm fairly new to the whole Homestuck, Army, Nation. Maybe like last few months, maybe the better part of the last year. It's just, I'm like not really great with my social networking all the time, and working with a lot of these new YouTube kids, they kind of like stress the importance of how important everything is. And so I was like, I've been way better on my Twitter and everything recently within the last year. And then all these kids on Twitter were like, all right, you should start a Tumblr. And I was like, what? So then I started, they got me to start a Tumblr. Now I'm just listening to like the fans, because I don't know what I'm doing. So one girl, Jean Bean, she actually convinced me to start a Tumblr. She's like, start a Tumblr, you'll have 1,000 followers by tonight. I'm like, all right, whatever, let's do it. I did that, and she was right. And then I'm on Tumblr for a while, for like a month or two, and then all these fans are like, you need to read Homestuck. And I'm like, what the is Homestuck? Because I would get all these drawings, right, of like Rufio, but like with horns. And I'm like, Rufio didn't have horns, you guys. Like, why are all these, and doing other crazy stuff. And so after you get like 100 or a few hundred like people like read this thing, then I'm like, yo, all right, I'm gonna read Homestuck. And then like overnight, like my followers on Tumblr like doubled. And then I started reading this thing and super confused. Super duper confused. I'm 6,000 pages in, and I'm like, I mean, I know what's going on with some characters, and then other characters I go, oh yeah, what the hell's going on with this? But you know, it became this really unique experience for me to read this webcomic with, you know, like 40,000 people live blogging, and we're all commenting and talking about it, and who gets that? I mean, it's such a unique experience to like read something with all these people, the whole community, and have this whole communication going on, and the art is awesome. So it's just been this amazing experience. And then when Rufio finally, I forgot like a few thousand pages into it, I'm like, what the hell am I reading? And then out of nowhere, like Rufio comes out of Tavros's head. And it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, what's going on? It's crazy. I mean, if I go back to my like Tumblr blogs about me reading Homestuck, because the two things, it's a crazy, weird story with crazy, weird characters, and then I read it at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I have weird dreams, and I don't know if what I'm reading it gets all convoluted in my head. So, you know, I have a lot of questions. Even though I'm like deep into it, I have a lot of questions that I hope to ask Andrew soon, because we DM each other, like I ask him questions, and I don't even know if he knows.
That's awesome. You know what? Maybe one day we should really ask him for real.
Yeah, I mean we're trying to get together for a convention coming up. It'll happen soon.
Awesome. And you know what? And your small screen adventures, which run definitely the gamut from being singer Brandy's best friend in Moesha, to the sneaker artist fan stalked by the guys from Entourage.
Cookie drama.
Yeah, totally. And also included are a few of your first animated roles like Johnny Bravo and Crown Prince Zuko of Fire Nation, Avatar Airbender.
Yeah.
That's a lot now.
That's a lot of different stuff going on.
I know. Can you please tell us how those roles came about and the biggest difference between live and animated acting?
I stumbled into the animated scene, you know, because I'm an on-screen actor my whole life, and then I started doing voiceover because I do spoken word poetry, and I started like the biggest venue on the West Coast about 15 years ago, Dante's Poetry Lounge, which is DPL, the Poetry Lounge, every Tuesday night on Melrose and Fairfax, and that became Deaf Poetry Jam on HBO. That was the inspiration for that. So I've done like spoken word for years. That turned into me doing some like ads for Nike and for Sprite. And through that, doing those ads, doing spoken word, I guess my voice kind of got around. And then there was a show for Cartoon Network that created a character for me that I did called Kitty Bobo on that show. It's like a pilot, it never went, but it's a cool show. And then I started working with my agency, Wayne Morris, and then I kind of fell into the voiceover world. And for me, I sit next to brilliant voiceover actors all the time. I'm just an actor, so whether there's a camera in the room or a microphone in the room recording, I'm just acting. Listening sometimes, it's kind of weird, but then you're sitting next to these brilliant voiceover actors that are doing like tons of different characters, Kevin Michael Richardson or Dee Bradley. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Grey DeLisle. I'm like, what? All right, what kind of acting? I'm like a fan when I'm in the room with them. And I only have like one voice, It's like the people that follow my voiceover career, I did American Dragon at the same time I was doing, which I was doing Prince Zuko, and they're like two different characters, but it's the same voice. And so it's funny when people flip them on YouTube, and like Zuko's talking all hip hop, or Jake is like talking about honor. But for me, it's all, I'm an actor, and it just comes from the same kind of acting. I don't really change my acting for on screen or for voiceover. I just try to put myself in that scene and just, go in.
Awesome. Well, that's wonderful. Actually, you talked about some dancing, so let me ask you about that. So definitely your dancing talent was showcased, co-starring Antonio Banderas in Take the Lead.
Yeah, Take the Lead.
And you were definitely among an extremely rare handful of Asian American poets to appear at, Russell Simon's Def Poetry Jam on HBO, and while you performed a personal piece. And you were also definitely the co-founder of the renowned weekly session, The Poetry Lounge, which we were talking about definitely. So how and when did your love for poetry come about, and how did it lead to appearing on DPJ, and what was the inspiration for creating the Poetry Lounge?
That was, I grew up in a hip-hop generation, and we were, in the 90s, we were just going around spitting poems. I don't know, spoken word started happening, and I started this thing in my living room, and just was friends of friends coming together, musicians, poets, and I started writing poetry in high school. I mean, why did we start writing poetry? Just pretty much to impress girls, and I guess I got good at it. And then the poetry venue kind of started growing. It was just friends of friends, a lot of actors, a lot of musicians, and like their friends started coming. And from my living room, it grew into a theater. From the theater, it inspired the Poetry Jam, and now it's like this weekly venue that has grown to like a few hundred people every week, just getting together, sharing stories. And I just love that the spirit of the poetry and spoken word keeps moving in Los Angeles.
That's awesome.
And dancing, I love dancing. If y'all saw Take the Lead, it was, I was a dancer first, right? So dancing is my first love. And I just tweeted out the other day, I was just caught Grease. I haven't seen Grease in a while. I was on cable and I watched it, and I realized Grease was probably the reason why I became an actor. I probably watched Grease so many times growing up. And even when I first auditioned for Zuko, I can only think Danny Zuko. I was like, Danny Zuko. And so when I did Take the Lead, that was like my Grease, where I actually got to dance and on screen finally after all these years and kind of go back to my first love. It's good.
That's cool. Awesome. And I don't know, who was at PMX last year? All right, so you know that we had George Takei last year? Yeah. And you know what? So we're gonna continue the conversation about George Takei again, because last year, I was moderating George Takei's panel, and among many things that still lack of diversity in Hollywood, including the controversial casting choices made in The Last Airbender, the live action. Oh, come on, guys.
I know, I still haven't seen the Airbender movie. I know, you know what? I had lunch with Brian and Mike, and they were like, "Don't watch it, man. Don't watch the film." Did you? I didn't see it, and I wrote a blog about it. And I don't know M. Night personally, but they will. Maybe I'll watch it sometime. We can live blog and watch it together.
You know what? Hey,
But it's important. I mean, my main point when I blogged about it when the movie was coming out, and a lot of people were asking me about how I felt about the casting or whatnot, and I never saw the film, but one of the things that I voiced was like with Aang or whatnot. I'm a child actor, and I came up through the Hollywood system, and I know how what that system can do for an actor and really set up their career for the rest of their lives and also impact a whole generation of people. And for ethnic actors, Asian Americans in this point, but ethnic actors as a whole, we don't have as many opportunities as quote-unquote Caucasian actors. So when there's an opportunity that comes up for someone to play Aang, we could really set up the next kid for his whole career, I just feel it's a missed opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing against the kid who played Aang, but there's a young Caucasian role every other film. There's like a young Caucasian role for that. So, and it's not any harder for Caucasian actors as it is for Asian actors. It's just the roles. So when you have this amazing role that comes up and you don't, it's just a missed opportunity because the fans are gonna watch the film. We don't know who this kid is. It's not like you're hiring some star kid he's gonna bring in another million people to see this movie. It's like Avatar fans are gonna come and watch this movie regardless. I just thought, as someone who grew up in the industry as a child actor, I just thought it's a shame that we missed setting up some new kid for the next generation. And so part of that for me as an actor, because now I'm in my 30s and I've been around a long time and I'm looking out for the next generation. I have a new film coming out called Hang Loose with me and a YouTube star named Kev Jumba. Right, so I created this company for Asian American Pacific Islanders. Yeah. It's called Kinetic Films, and we're doing 4 films a year, and it's really doing these films with taking actors like myself, Asian American actors that have celebrity status within the mainstream, and also taking YouTube stars like Kev Jumba and really putting them in lead roles of films and catering to an audience that's underrepresented in the mainstream. So our first film's called Hang Loose, and it's about me marrying Kev's sister in Hawaii and the antics that go on the night before the wedding. So you gotta check that out. That'll be coming out December 14th. And also I think it's all online, and if you email, I guess we're gonna have like a special code for all the PMX people for the pre-sale, which will be like a discounted rate, and you'll be able to check the movie out before the release at the end of this month. And I think if you email, what's the email? hangloosepr@gmail.com. hangloosepr@gmail.com. You'll get return like the code for and the date for the pre-release, and it'll be like a discounted rate, and that'd be awesome.
And I'm sure if you guys forget that, there's also marketing at pacificmediaexpo.com, and it'll put it on the website, and Facebook, and Twitter, and
Definitely.
Instagram. So,
and Tumblr.
Especially Tumblr. And speaking of kinetic films, so what stories are you looking forward to producing?
Well, the Hang Loose is coming. We just finished our 3rd film, so Hang Loose is coming out. We did another film where Justin Sean from Twilight and Kev do a film called Man Up that we just finished, which is another comedy. And then we have a really dark film I did about the dark side of Hawaii called Paradise Broken. And then I'm writing a new film for a YouTube kid named AJ Raphael around his album called Red Roses, so that's going to be a musical. And so we're trying to do 4 films a year, cultivating, working with my generation of Asian American talent, and also cultivating the next generation, and teach them how to make movies and write scripts, and just really kind of, doing something for the community.
Awesome, thank you very much. Actually, and here I have one last question. You know what? Speaking of Hang Loose and Kev Jumba and the shenanigans in Hang Loose, how did you and Kev Jumba meet and eventually collaborate on Hang Loose?
How did me and Kev? Well, I met Kev through AJ Raphael. So AJ's he's this singer and he's this real cool cat. And one time we met at a bar and he said, "You might meet my friend Kev Jumba." And I was like, "Oh, Kev, I don't know, Kevin, right?" Yes. And so we're at this bar and we're just having some drinks. He's the one that actually Kev and AJ got me to start a YouTube channel and they basically got me to start doing my social networking about a year ago because, I'm from the old school Hollywood where we're like, I don't mess around with these social networking. I told them I'm not online. I just do my own thing. And they were like, "You're online." Kev was like, "Google yourself right now. You're all over online if you're not." And they explained to me, if you're not really cultivating your online presence, you're just leaving it up to whoever to do that. And so that they taught me a lot of lessons. It's like this, it's a generational thing. Like there's a lot of things that I think my generation can teach the new generation, and there's a lot of things that you guys that are teaching us every day with social media and the internet and everything.
Awesome. Thank you. And speaking of the internet, definitely, you know what? I don't have any more questions. So we are going to open up the floor. Please do not run, walk. And we are, it's that microphone in the middle. You know the rules, one per person. Please walk, don't run. Make it very quick. And we have 20 minutes.
I already asked.
We have 20 minutes, so let's talk.
Hey Dante.
How you doing?
They need to know.
I'm doing great. So I just recently did my first dabble in spoken word poetry, and I wrote something for you last night, and it took me a while, and I was just wondering if I could recite it.
Rock it. If it's quick, let's do it.
One shot.
All right, let's go. Dear Mr. Basco, reciting because you asked so. I'll give it to you straight, try not to hesitate as I try to imitate a style I'm not all too familiar with. Whilst tossing a bit of myself in the mix could break the whole structure, it might be the fix. But anyway, how did it feel to be the Fire Nation Prince? Rise to glory with many moments that left us wincing. Convey an epic story carrying a redemption song. Have children and adults following along for the long journey that the whole experience spanned. Showing an audience that anyone can indeed can redeem themselves from pasts dark and damp, like in the new hair Zuko, but the ponytail, you didn't have to cut it off. How does it feel to be chosen in worlds of fantasy, where players spread their wings, fight creatures and other things, shootouts and action, bringing authenticity to where the action is happening? What's the best part of being a Philam man? Whoops, correction for inflection. What is the best part of being a Philam gentleman? Is it the adobo, the rice, the taste, the tight family bonds and the children's smiling faces? Never wasting my time personally when I stop to think and ponder about a culture more folks should take pride in. Whether full or half American. I could drag on like Jake Long, but I apologize. Let's move on. How does it feel to be immortalized in a webcomic of influence? In a character much like yourself, only with wings and banging horns, so banging that the bang started banging? You've captured the hearts of Tumblrites, far and many, inciting many a fangirl screaming, scheming, and dreaming of ships, all while you're comfortably stuck at home, or wherever you choose to roam. With this whole Homestuck thing, does it sometimes make your ear ring while you lie in bed in the dead of night? Do you hear the chants once more? Rufio, Rufio, Rufio! With that, I suppose I'm done with my rhetoric, questions, and such. What I have left to say shouldn't be much. You're a wonderful man, Mr. Basco, of many talents, many voices, dancing and singing to boot. You're a poet and people like it when you show it. You speak from the heart rather focusing on what was sold. In your many works, newer and old, you spoke of growing and how we never truly change, no matter how time decides for our bodies to rearrange. You spoke of love, its greatness and downfalls, the words we speak that's important we tweak, so to speak. You give a fond reminder to put the gentle in gentleman, whether in public or in bed if I possibly can. And sorry, I'm not much of a pro-poet when I propose such gestures as this. My skill in reciting tends to often taper. I mean, heck, I'm reading this from paper. So I wrap this all up with what left I have to say. Thank you for your contributions to the industry, breathing life in characters we know today, and what they say in every word will be hanging on what we heard because it was Dante Basco, some directorial figure preferred. But most of all, thank you for being who you are in a studio, at your home, and driving in your car. To an audience online or the audience before you now, dear Mr. Basco, sincerely, Max Reyes, or Mr. English for today.
Thank you. Dope.
I'm sorry, guys. I would like to remind you, please keep all of your questions under a minute. But that was fabulous. Thank you. Let's give it up for us.
No more of that.
That's a tough act to follow. Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm Zenny. I'm a huge fan. I'm not as creative as my buddy Max here. So I wanted to ask you if you have, sort of a question within a question, if you have partaken of the media created by the Homestuck fandom, specifically voice acting by any chance, and if you have any plans for an actual collaboration, which Homestuck character would you want to voice most?
You know, I haven't really done any voice acting for Homestuck yet, and I plan to. I've done a few, like, you know, people up on my Tumblr, you know, I've done, like, I did a little thing on Dave one time. I did one of Tavros's. There's a few, every time I read something that's kind of funny, I want to voice it. I'm sure with the video game coming out, I'm sure I'm going to do a voice. I'll hit up Andrew about that. I'm sure I'll do a voice in that. But as far as characters, you know, I love Dave. He's fun. I mean, at Tavros, I got of course. I mean, I don't know. And there's so many different characters to do. I don't know idea, but I'm sure if something goes down, I don't know. I'd do one of those. Or Rufio, I gotta do Rufio, I guess. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I'll definitely do something.
For beginning voice actors like myself who do fan voices for Homestuck, do you have any tips?
You know, I've heard a few different versions of all the characters, and they're so interesting. It's just when you're doing voice acting or acting in general, you just kind of find out whatever your thing is or how you see the character and just go for it. It's like you shouldn't really imitate anybody else. Just your take on it is just as good as anybody else's.
Thanks. I was also told to say hello from Case, Ask Crackhead Voice.
Alright guys, one question please. Thank you.
Hi, I don't know if you might have seen it on Tumblr, a rumor that's been going around. I wanted to know if you can confirm it or not. Will you be voicing Casey Jones in the new Ninja Turtles?
Oh yeah, that's a rumor. I can't really, I'm not really gonna speak on it. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm gonna say no comment.
No comment, ladies and gentlemen. Please continue.
Hi Dante, I'm Steph.
Hello.
Hello. I was just, I thought it was really great how you really think about the future generation, taking care of them. As you said, dancing was your first love and how you started breakdancing in the Bay Area. So being a hip hop dancer as well from the Bay Area,
cool.
And now living in Los Angeles, I've discovered that there's a huge Asian hip hop community here.
Yes, definitely.
And so I was just, you know, it ranges from dancers from middle school to college graduates. I was just wondering if you were doing any kind of projects to support this Asian hip hop community, and then also within that, like, how do you support your own love for dance, even as a full-time actor?
I mean, I did a film a few years back that never came out called Boogie Town, and I don't know what's going on with it, but it was about this Asian crew versus black crew, and the Asian crew was me and Quest crew, so it was like, and Kaba, it was like half Kaba Modern and half Quest, and I was in that crew. But I don't ever know what happened in the film. Sometimes films disappear. But I'm always, I'm friends with all those guys. You know, Victor, Kim, Hawk, the whole crew, Dietrich, they're like buddies of mine. So I'm always supporting of them. And I hope to do a film in the company with them because dance is such big for our community. It's so big for the community and it's one of my backgrounds. So it's definitely, looking at the dance musical coming up the next year, I'm definitely down to produce that. And as far as dancing, you know, if you're in LA, you see me at a club, you'll probably see me on the dance floor.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm sick, so.
It's okay.
I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
I was just curious, out of all the animated characters that you voice acted, which one's your favorite?
I loved all of them. I probably, you know, Prince Zuko was such an amazing character that I have to say that's a very, gotta be my favorite. I mean, in all my whole career, I look at characters as far as that character's arc and the storyline he went through in those, you know, those 5 seasons that we did that. Amazing, and I think it's a testament to how he became such an iconic character for this generation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honor. I think we did. We found it by the end of it, didn't we?
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, very good.
I'm gonna ask you a question about a movie you probably haven't thought about for like, yeah.
Roll with it.
I loved you in Blood and Bone.
Blood and Bone.
I loved it.
Thank you.
Did Spawn teach you anything?
Yeah, Mike Jai White is the truth, man. That guy is a martial artist. If you guys don't know that movie, Blood and Bone is this mixed martial arts film I did where I played the manager, Michael Jai White, who played Spawn. And it was great. All those guys are really, really great. That film was awesome because there's no wire work. It was all hand-to-hand combat.
It's beautiful.
And if you see me in the film, I just talk a lot of shit.
Yes.
They let me go off. I just do like half an hour tirades of just madness. But thank you, man. I love that film.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm Alex. On those Sprite commercials, what did you play in the sprites on those Sprite commercials?
I was just doing spoken word. I think one of them was like, in the club with the crew, what to do when you find another brother in the club and he's looking at you, got eyes for a second, just a millisecond, ain't much. Don't take much when somebody feels threatened these days. I'm remembering something, but it's going out of my head. But it ended with like, obey your thirst.
What year was it now?
Huh?
What year?
It was like the 90s. The 90s, yeah.
Hey Dante, my name is Dennis and I run a cosplay podcast. I just want to know, how do you feel about seeing characters you portrayed both on screen and that have been like 2D animated, seeing them real life in costume?
It's amazing, it's amazing. It's like one of those things that you never really, whoever thinks about this stuff when you start acting or whatnot, and even within the last few years as Comic-Con has kind of blown up and fandom has blown up, and it's just crazy to see. And like Halloween, I just kind of ran. I'm like on the boulevard where like a lot of people walking around in costumes and see people dressed up as Rufio or Prince Zuko, and then you run into them, and it's surreal. Definitely, like this is surreal. Like I see Prince Zuko. I don't know how you're supposed to feel about it. It's cool. It's awesome. But it's just I find it so fascinating that people are so creative and kill it, people, especially people that are like cosplaying, they really go all out, and you're like, wow, that's better than some of the sets I've been on. So,
Nice, thank you. Maraming salamat.
thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Marshall.
Hi, Marshall.
What was it like to come back to Avatar and do the voice of the grandson of the character you started out as?
Yeah, Iroh 2, Iroh the second. That was strange, right? It's a little bit crazy. It was cool. First of all, coming back to the Avatar family and working with Mike and Brian is always great because they're just amazing guys. And Nickelodeon you'll forever be a part of the Avatar family, And then when they were coming back with the new series and they're doing Legend of Korra, and they pitched me this idea to this character. It was strange. I think it was odd for everybody at first. Like, is this gonna work? How's this gonna work? Because it's like, this is a cartoon, right? It's not like, it's a live action where Dante comes back to play his grandson and then he's in a different costume with a different haircut, and it's like, we all know that's Dante. So it's like a totally different character, but it's my same voice. How does this happen? But I'm just glad, it happened. It's cool, and when it happened, because I think the first episode I come back, I only say like one word. I forget what the word is, but it's like, I say like one line, and then as soon as I said that line, like my Twitter and Tumblr went crazy. But it's very, very, very cool experience, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of Iroh the second. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm a great fan of your work.
Thank you.
Especially of Avatar: Last Airbender.
Thank you
When
very
you were
much.
playing Prince Zuko, what was the mindset which you got into while playing such a tormented character?
The mindset. The thing about Zuko is, he's misunderstood the whole time. And when you're playing, even in the first season, it's like I was a bad guy, And none of us knew what the storyline was going to be. I just figured like I was a bad guy. But when you're acting and you're acting the quote unquote bad guy, the thing about it is you can never play the bad guy. Everybody has a reason why they're doing what they're doing, And so you just kind of play the reason why you're doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, it's kind of, now I'm getting like all mental into acting. But it was just great to play a character because I played a character a lot growing up because again, I'm an ethnic actor, right? So most of my roles, you're robbing somebody. Or you're being the mean person or the bad guy. But in reality, all these guys are doing it for a reason. They're not just out there being bad villains for no reason. So you just gotta get in that mindset. But then when they really got to see what Zuko, where everyone else gets to see the reason why Zuko's doing the things he's doing, is really shedding light on the dark side of the Force. You know? Thank you.
Hey Dante.
Yo, what's up?
No, not much, man. Doing good. So nice to meet you. Would you be interested in doing additional voiceovers for anime in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Let your voice be heard.
Let my voice be heard. If it's the right character, you know, if it's a cool character, I think it would be, I definitely be very interested in.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. Cool headphones.
Hey, Dante.
Hey, I met you before.
Yeah, we've met before. I'm very happy you remember.
Yeah, I remember. Who can forget?
I just wanted to say, when I met you at Comic-Con, I was a little bit nervous, but as soon as I started talking to you, that nervousness just melted away. And you're very charismatic, and you have such a good heart, and you're very talented.
Thank you.
And I also have a present for you.
Really?
Yes.
Presents?
I heard you like Tavros, and I heard you like Rose, so I have a Tavros button and a Rose button.
Oh, yeah. I do like Rose. I mean, how can you not like Rose? I just got to Roxy, and Roxy's kind of dope. Dude, these are dope.
I admit I did not make them, but you can get more of them in the artist alley. Okay, so just thank you very much. And
Thank you.
You're very talented.
Thank you. Dave.
Sup?
Sup?
I have two questions.
Yes.
Sorry, my voice is kind of... Okay, so, as you know, Homestuck,
Yes.
What are your opinions on seeing Rufio cosplayers with horns and gray makeup? And what are your opinions on just Rufio just coming back in this whole comic?
First, I'm glad I finally understand the gray Rufio with the horns. When I see him, now I know what's going, now I'm hip to what's going down. I think it's cool, you know, over the years, people always wanted, you know, Rufio became such an iconic character for that generation that it comes up a lot in like art, or people come up with ideas of how to use them, and they're all great. But in this, you know, webcomic, it was very interesting and very cool how he was, you know, he's Tavros's, but like the guy that talks him up is like, it just became what I think a lot of that generation thought of Rufio was, is like someone to hype him up and someone to really get them to do the right thing, you know, stand up. And I just thought it was a great figurative kind of thing for what Rufio is. So I'm really honored to be a part of that thing. Honored. And so I forgot the second question. What was the second question? But it's great that I'm a part. I somehow became a part of Homestuck, and I didn't even know how this happened. And then with the new Rufio coming out, it was great. I'm not even there yet, but a lot of people sent me a lot of stuff for the newer update.
Oh yeah.
Which I can't wait to read. And they're not any spoilers. I mean, I did see some artwork. Looked pretty cool. It looked pretty cool. But thank you.
Hi.
Yeah.
First of all, we at Pixel Drift Gallery would like to thank you for retweeting our Legend of Korra art show. It means a lot. So
Oh, no
thank you
doubt.
so much. And second of all, would you ever consider cosplaying a character from your favorite show?
Yeah, you know, I would. Last time I was at Comic-Con, Mae Whitman, she was dressed up, right? We're doing a panel together and she's dressed up. And she's like, why don't you dress up? I'm like, what? I'm like, you're a cute little girl. You dress up and you look cute. I would dress up as something, I don't know what. I gotta figure it out. It's gotta be cool. I mean, doing Rufio would be crazy. I don't know about that, but maybe Rufio and Homestuck, that could be cool. But I will. I mean, sooner or later at one of these cons, if I get with the right cats that can really throw down in the cosplay, I'll give it a go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're getting to the last 5 minutes of the panel, so let's do some speed questions.
Let's go.
Hello, Mr. Basco. My name is Nate Wynn. Before I ask my question, I just wanted to say thank you because you are pretty much the reason I've done anything. Because I watched Rufio when I was a little kid, pretty much every other day. Because of that, I took up b-boying, I took up martial arts, I took up the sword and spear. I pretty much have dedicated my entire life to trying to get into film. And for that, I thank you.
Thank you.
You mean a lot to me. Now, my question is actually about kinetic films, and I was wondering how you're going about that. And I was wondering, as an Asian American activist trying to get into the business as well, I was wondering how can not just me but anybody else get into something like that?
Well, we are releasing our first slate of films starting next month, over the next year, and so we're lining up our second slate of films. And through that, if you just kind of get in touch with the company and follow us, you'll see what films we're casting. We're also looking for scripts. We're taking a lot of meetings with people with scripts or whatnot. And basically, an overview of what we're doing is like 4 films a year, 2 comedies, a drama, and an action or musical. So that's like the loose idea of what we're doing. And again, it's trying to release a film every 3 months. And so if you follow what we're doing, you can submit work or you can also audition for upcoming projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since you worked on Avatar, what are your thoughts of them continuing it in Legend of Korra?
I think it's great. I think, it's a challenge. They created such a perfect world and a perfect story with Avatar: The Last Airbender that I talked to Mike and Brian, they're like, it's such a perfect thing that was kind of hard to touch. And I think how they put into the future so much, and they used the female Avatar this time, and they really are pushing themselves to go beyond just continuing the stories that they already created. I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of what they're doing. I love Korra. And I think in a lot of ways, how Lucas created Star Wars and this whole world for that generation, they're continuing to do that with this project and this franchise. And I'm really excited to see what they come up with for the rest of Korra and even beyond for the whole Avatar world.
Hi, first I want to thank you for coming to a convention I could actually get to.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask, did you ever try out for a role and then they gave you a completely different role just based on your acting or your voice?
Yeah, they've done that a lot. Because this is the thing. A lot of times when you're acting, when I'm auditioning, most of the times I'm Filipino, right? So most roles. So there are no Filipino roles in Hollywood. So when I come into the room, usually 9 out of 10 times the role is actually written to be quote unquote white or black or Latin. And very rarely Asian, and if it's Asian, it's definitely not Filipino. So, coming into the room, I'm usually auditioning for one of the leads or whatnot like that, so either you'll book that role and they totally change the character for you, or they like you so much and they're just gonna create a character. When I did the show Moesha with Brandy, I auditioned for a totally different role, but the producers liked me so much they just created a whole character, and they were just taking out things I said in the audition and just making it into a brand new character. So, the great thing when you're acting, I always tell young actors, there's a fine line of trying to give them what they want and then just being yourself. If you really are comfortable in your own skin and can really tell a story from your point of view, sooner or later, you as an actor and the right character that the industry creates is gonna meet in the right place, and then maybe it'll be Rufio or Zuko.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is the last question, everybody, and just to let you know that he will be available for autographs outside of the main events. And also, as we said, it's one per person. And last question.
Hi, Dante. I'm soft grunge 90s Rose Milan today.
Yo, what's up, Rose?
Got a good taste in music, very alternative. I was wondering, I've been following your Tumblr and your Twitter, and I saw you've been talking about making some horns on Tumblr.
Oh yeah, I need some horns.
I'm really curious, what kind of horns did you make?
You know, I didn't make them yet. I've kind of been researching. There's like something that everyone told me to use the exact. The thing is, when you're making horns, let me ask the Homestucks here. Like, how do you know which ones you should make?
Experimenting.
I just want to look cool. Some people have these crazy big, crazy horns. When I get my horns made, I'll do like a Homestuck vlog with the horns on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is awesome. And with that, everybody, Dante Basco at PacificMediaExpo.com.
Thank you. See you guys outside.
PMX 2012. Thank you.